The Charm family is one of the oldest surviving spellcasters. As a result, Minerva's greatest wish is to continue the family into the next generations and keep it pure. Emilia may be the newest addition to Caster's Alley, but her ambition won the woman over. Now stuck in a marriage that's not all there, Emilia is content to learn and grow as a spellcaster. Maybe not as a mother though, especially with the Amicable Acolytes moving in and a certain one who seems to have caught both her and Darell's eye. Also, what's with the locked room in the attic, and what does that have to do with mischievous Gemma and her rebelling? So yeah, I'm Laro and welcome to the Charm Manor. Quick bit of context, I made this in July, I believe closer to the end of July, and I made it over the course of 3 days. Wait, no, four 4 days. It ended up being one of those spur of the moment builds where you're just like staring at the world and you're like, ew. Like that's what it felt like, because I was actually combining worlds into a forever save, and I was like, oh, I have a whole bunch more for Glimmerbrook than I thought I did. So I combined the Acolytes into the Charm family because I do like the Acolytes. Like, they're kind of fun to see, especially when you go to the magic realm and you like see, oh, there's people that I know, magic. And when I did that, I was like, ooh, okay, something to do. So I combined them. And then I built another house for one of my Sims families. And then I did the other one for the Reaper's Rewards event, which I did end up playing in Glimmerbrook, even though I'm not even playing a spellcaster. I'm playing a werewolf and a vampire. But whatever. And when I did that, I was staring at this other house and I was like, ew, it's so ugly. And I know Glimmerbrook's technically known for that, where you're staring at it and you're like, okay, that's just doesn't look right. Like, it's not giving off the magic vibes that you were wanting it to. And so when I was staring at it, I decided, ooh, I'm gonna build something there. And I ended up building this. I would literally get off work and just start building it because it was the summer, so I had no classes. And I was like, okay, I can make this work. I completely bulldozed the lot and then realized I know nothing about the Charm family. I've never actually interacted with them or even played as them. Like, they've just never been on my radar. And so I ended up having to look at the wiki and just like skimming it. And I'm not sure if it's still there, but there was something about Minerva having a bad relationship with mischief, and I was like, okay. And then Gemma has the mischief skill, and I was like, okay, there's an idea right there. And then I ended up having to research the realm of magic, so I watched My Name is Gonza's video and parts of Plumbella's. I did not end up finishing them. And then I skimmed the wiki for the Amicable Acolytes, and then I remembered vaguely this notion where when I saw Tomax and Emilia, I was like, okay, Tomax totally has a crush on Emilia. Like, just look at the dude and you're just like, okay, Emilia wants to be the best spellcaster. The Amicable Acolytes are literally competing it. Like, it just made sense in my head, or they used to be roommates or something. Like, there's some history there. So when I combined them, it ended up making more and more sense. And I was like, okay, this'll work. And when I got to the actual build, I was like, okay, everyone needs their own space. Because I was more thinking about it when I was staring at it, I was like, okay, they seem like an older family of spellcasters. Like, they've totally been here this entire time. Like, I could see them being potentially able to trace their family back to the Mooncasters and the creation of vampires. If you've watched My Name is Gonza's video, that's what he goes into, is he goes into the history of werewolves, Mooncasters, and werewolves, and how that was like an ancient thing. And then when they tried to get rid of vampires, they ended up breaking the magic realm, and that's why the magic realm is so broken and you have to travel through portals to get anywhere. And when I was looking at that, it gave me more and more ideas for how I could make this house work, even though I've never gone into like the deep lore of the Charm family or the Amicable Acolytes or really any other part of Realm of Magic, despite having a sim that I got a little obsessed with that was a spellcaster. But it was about this point where I realized there's nothing else, I guess, is a good way to put that. like there's all this history, but there's not really stuff in the game that shows that. You just have to read the pop-ups, which I know annoys people, and I've never paid attention to them. I've literally only done stuff if it was an incentive by the game where I will get stuff. And I ended up having to pull from modern witch media, like Crucible or Hocus Pocus or Harry Potter more recently, YA books, I guess. Just pulling from like everywhere that I can think of. Halloween costumes, Halloween itself. Oh gosh, I'm gonna be posting this in October. Oopsie. And when I did that, it gave me more and more ideas. And then for whatever reason, when I was looking for media, I ended up thinking the Great Gatsby cover. If you've never seen that, it's like a blue cover with this eye on it. And then there's the lighthouse, I believe. And then it's like goldish. And when I was thinking of that, it gave me the idea of maybe having this house be like an older 1920s class divide type house where it's like this massive house and then there's like places to take in guests and everything, and then a lot of like sitting areas. Because I know in The Great Gatsby, what is it, Daisy has like this sitting area that, what is his face? I always forget the main character's name. Luke? No, that's modern. I don't know. The main character, he goes to the like sitting area, or maybe it's a flashback type sitting area, and there's all these like colors, and the way I saw Daisy's house was that was the place where she would take in guests and have her big whole front of, oh, I'm a good person. Ha ha ha. That's so mean. But that's just the kind of vibe that house, that sitting area gave off to me. And I was thinking, okay, the Charms would totally have a house like that. So then I made the house look even more ancient. And I think the first vibe I kind of did with the house was this like white and blue. I don't know why I thought that would work, and it ended up not working. And it I did that on the first day, and then I came back the next day and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to pull back from like Hocus Pocus. And so I ended up getting green and red stuck in my head, just like that combo of the main witch's color palette. And then I was thinking of the other two Hocus Pocus sisters and the red and white, and then what is the other one? I think it's purple and black. So I darkened the colors and it worked a lot better. Especially with the business and hobbies bed, like that blue, green, teal bed. It's probably one of my favorite beds. I love that bed. It looks so comfy. It's like one of the most comfy beds that I've ever looked at. I was like, okay, yeah. But the darkened color scheme ended up working a lot better, especially when I added the paranormal rugs and a lot of plants. Which, like, I know it's always like tips, oh, add more plants, but it really works, especially when you're looking at corners of rooms. I think I put some in the dining room and the main cauldron area just off of the hallway on the bottom floor. The bottom floor was especially a pain when you look at the house. Like, I think I went on a tangent and I just did the outside because I got so stuck on the inside. I was just like, But once I did that, and then I started thinking about the rooms on the second floor and how that would tie into the house, it ended up working a lot better, which thankfully helped with the whole grand scheme of the house. Although, to be fair, I did kind of shove the kitchen in a corner on accident. I have some minor regrets. Though I did finally remember to actually put a dining room. So, bam. I do wish I made the kitchen bigger. Like, I hate that it's so tucked into the corner because it ended up feeling like you're not meant to use it, which I do use the cauldron for mac and cheese a lot. Like, I just make a lot because it doesn't look like it spoils. And so you can kind of just leave it in there as just a general food area. Especially with how big the house is. Like, filling up needs is going to be a nightmare in this house. That's actually why there's as many bathrooms as there are bedrooms, which a lot of them are attached to bedrooms. So they ended up all feeling like master bedrooms, which is kind of why Minerva's section on the bottom floor is their own wing, I guess. It made the room feel kind of more special to her, especially since she's the main matriarch who's taking in all these random spellcasters to like train them, which is kind of why the acolytes moved in. At least that's my in-universe justification for why they're there and not just me randomly combining households. But it does kind of help when, if the Charms are an older family, of course they're gonna want to like flaunt their knowledge. Their knowledge, of course, pulling on ancient magic family tropes. They know stuff other people don't. They're like the Rockefellers. Anyways, there is an extra room. That is what I picture Minerva wanting a grandbaby and kind of like forcing it onto Darell and Emilia. Though, are they engaged or fully married? I could see them being engaged. Maybe Minerva doesn't really care about a baby out of wedlock. She just wants a baby and be able to see it before she dies. She dies in like 13 days in my game. That's kind of sad. I don't really like playing with elders. I think that's why my generation family is only on generation 3, because it makes me emotionally sad. I remember my first death in The Sims 4. It was a cat. I vaguely remember crying about it. The worst part is I don't even remember the cat's name. Just remember it was a gray tabby. It was the pet for the first generation challenge I tried, or legacy challenge. Their houses are still up on the gallery. Those are my first attempts at houses. They're so bad. I hate them. Existential dread out of the way. Emilia and Darell, they also have a baby room on the offshoot of their room, because there's like a little section and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just kind of made a baby room. I think in the future I might change it to a closet, though I guess if you wanted to play a messy family, Emilia could have an affair with Tomax. I kind of saw it as turning into a poly relationship, just because look at Daryl's eyeliner. The evidence in question. It's kind of like a fork in the kitchen scenario. Like, are you really shocked? I wouldn't, especially with magic. Do you think they have homophobia? I don't know. Though, is Emilia straight? I kind of always saw her as straight. Do you think she's one of those ones where she gets drunk and she's bi? I don't know. Drop your headcanons in the comments below. I'm curious now. What about Tomax? Tomax is totally bi. Especially with the paranormal hair I gave him. Totally gives off bi vibes. What about Grace? Grace Anansi? Is that how you say it? I don't know. It's named after the Anansi folklore in Africa. I love Anansi. He's such a cool guy. Especially the folklore around him, where he like spins stories. He's such a cool guy. I don't know. Grace, I've always seen her as potentially growing into a McGonagall figure from Harry Potter, where she like has a partner and then she like leaves him for some reason. I don't remember the reason McGonagall gave, but like she ends up growing up and she's like a really powerful, she could be the next sage. I could see that. That'd be so cool. What would she be the sage of? I feel like Untamed, because I don't see her as the practical kind of vibes, and I don't see her as mischief either. Yeah, I think Untamed would work for her. That would be Morgan. Oh yeah, okay, I see that. Morgan and their apprentice Anansi Grace. Oh, Grace is such a good name for that too. Like, give the Untamed magic some grace, man. Like, if they hold elections for becoming sage, that could be your slogan. Untamed grace. Bam. I imagine there's, like, some kind of electoral part to becoming sage. Like, it could be, like, a pope situation where they have, like, their own internal decision factor. Oh, gosh. This is pulling on the Sacred 28 from Harry Potter. Like, they totally have their own section, or is it, like, the sage chooses one, like in Centaur World, to become the next sage, and they take him on as an apprentice? I could see that too. Though, aren't Morgan and Grace the same age? Maybe Morgan like froze themselves. I could see them being immortal. Oh, they could be the Nicholas Flamel of this universe. I could see that. I've kind of always shipped Morgan with the Vators, like either or. Though, could you imagine Twink and Twink with Caleb and Morgan? I could see that. Maybe in the future, Morgan like gives up their powers and then becomes a vampire and then just lives happily or ever after with Caleb. Do you think Caleb would move out of from his sister's house, or is it like a toxic thing? Lilith's bangs give off controlling vibes to me, I think. Though it is Lilith. And the sapphic in me is telling me she's not controlling. So maybe she's just ancient types of love. I could see that. Different timelines, like Edward. Though Edward's just weird. I don't think Lilith could go to Edward levels of weird. She could go to Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula, though. I could see that, though. She could be the main character. She could, like, pull from Carmilla? Like, that woman vampire from before Bram Stoker's Dracula. The OG lesbian vampire. That could be a vibe. I love Lilith. I'm gonna be real. It's the next day. That was recorded at, like, 2 a.m. I don't know where I went with that. I don't know where I planned on going with that. I think I was just rambling, but it's funny, so I'm gonna keep it. Let's go back to the build, I guess. List of things that I wish I could change. Probably the kitchen. Oh, I just thought of a better layout. I think I could have swapped the kitchen and the living room and did more of an open concept, though that might pull on a little more modern vibes. I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, and that feels wrong to me. So, I don't think so. It could work. It could be like one of those things where when they update houses, they just make it more modern and update everything. That's sad. I love old houses. Although, I found this one on Zillow, and it was an older house, but it was one that had been split into like 3 apartments. That still weirds me out. It was a nice house, though. It was ugly, though. In any other environment than a sunrise or sunset. Like, it was so pretty, but everywhere else ugly. And it was like split up. Though that could be a fun renovation project. I wonder if that house was still on there. Because it was on Zillow for like 4 months by the time I looked at it. I don't know. I would also probably change some of the rooms. Gemma's feels a little weird to me still because I assigned her the pink color in my head and that doesn't feel like a Gemma thing. Though her name is Gemma. Precious crystals. It could work. I don't know if I like it though. Like, I made it like pink and purple. And I wish I went for the purple theme, like fully for Grace's room. I did more of a blue, but I couldn't make the curtains work. They were so ugly. I literally sent them to my partner at the time and they laughed at me. So, sadness. Another thing I would probably change is the outside. I didn't know what to do with the yard, I'm gonna be honest. So I ended up doing something that already didn't work for a previous build that will also be posted. That one was made in January though, and pulling from January, bad idea. I was incredibly sleep deprived. I do like the Jack and Jill bathroom that I did for Tomax and Grace's room, and I did get to use a painting from City Living that I've been really wanting to use in Grace's room, but I have not been able to find a family that I would like to use it for, so I'm really glad I finally got to use it for Grace's room. It's the black, gray, and red one. I love all of the options on that one, and I've never been able to find a reason to use the more, I guess, African-centric ones. So when I saw it, I was really hyped. I think it fits for Grace. Especially since her last name is Anansi. Yeah, I was really hyped. It fit the theme really well too. Like, it's still dark, so it fits with the walls. But then it also adds a little bit of color, so you get to see the red for like Grace's spirit. And then thinking about my rambling last night, it also fits with Morgan. Like, maybe she really admires Morgan. That's just me headcanoning for The Sims 4 that has very sparse lore. Sometimes I just stare at Sims and I'm like, you have a story. You totally could fit as a main character. I can force you to be a main character. Pull a fairy from like D&D that like forces people into situations. That sounds fun. Like, really, really fun. Let's talk about the channel now. I'm running out of ideas for the build. Since this is a newer channel and I am in the middle of college and I also work part-time, I'm hoping videos will come out every 2 weeks. I don't know if I'll be able to stick to that. I have a lot of backups to build, so I just need to work myself up to recording them. And considering this one took me like 2 months to work up to recording, and now I have to show my even and worst builds. It might be a while. I hope it's not, because I'm really hyped to share these builds. I love them a lot. Some of them pull on my fixation, some of them pull on my boredom. I have a lot of just base game builds, and one of them's called 3-in-1 by the Creek, and that one's really popular on the gallery. Like, it has 54 downloads, which is my most downloaded house right now. So I'd be hyped to share that one, especially since that one's just base game, and I did it on a 20x15 lot. I don't know why it worked. Kind of all depends on you guys. I'd be willing to take suggestions, honestly, on builds. Like, if you have an idea and you don't know how to build it, I'd be willing to take a crack at it, because sometimes I run out of ideas too, and I think sharing ideas is one of my favorite things that I like to do, especially when you get to interact with new people and see their ideas for how it works. It does lead to some pretty dark things though, which sucks, but human experience and all that, just kind of have to deal. But like I said, I'm not sure how consistent I'll be able to be. School is my priority, and even though I dropped down my work schedule because of school, I don't know if I can drop it anymore. My next build post is probably going to be the mushroom one. That one's already edited. I just need to record and post it. I think this one will probably be posted the 17th potentially, so the next one would probably have to be Halloween. Hopefully I can get it out before then on the 24th. That's probably going to be my goal. For the end of my video, I have screenshots that will be posted in a montage format, and then my end card. Like, comment, and subscribe. Adios. Just realized I forgot Gemma. My idea was she basically became a paranormal investigator and was dealing with forces unknown when she was a teenager, and it kind of got her interested, and then she started following it, and then she became an apprentice under Alphabet. Just that, basically. Okay, bye.